Are you obsessed with the unique, the bizarre, and the fascinating? Well, so are we, and you're in good company.
Get ready for our top 15 countdown of the world's most dangerous islands.
At our number 15 spot, Poveglia Island, Italy. Poveglia is a small island located halfway between Venice and Lido. A small canal divides the island into two separate parts. Romans shipped anyone diseased with the bubonic plague to this island, where they were left to live out the remaining days until they croaked. Since the island already reeked of death, the next time an epidemic came along, barely alive bodies were dumped there and burned in mass graves. In the 20s, a mental hospital was built to welcome the island's newest guests, or anybody that showed symptoms of any sort of sickness, physical or mental. The doctor who ran the island conducted all kinds of brutal experiments on the residents of the island, like shoving chisels into their brains to see what moved. The doc eventually tumbled off the bell tower, either by his own doing or with a little shove from a few tortured souls. He survived the fall, but rumor has it some sort of mist swallowed him up alive, effectively finishing the job. Poveglia is the final restless resting place for over 100,000 diseased, murderous, and insane people. The Italian Tourism Board prohibits visiting the island on paper and requires a lengthy application process, where you must obtain approval before you can step foot onto the human ash-covered land. Otherwise, there's nothing particularly precarious about getting to the island. While officially there are no boats taking regular trips to the island, for about 200 euros, someone will most likely float you over there. When paranormal investigators got wind of Poveglia, they were there in a heartbeat to film an episode of the popular Travel Channel TV show Ghost Adventures. Needless to say, the team got what they came for. And, as with most of their episodes, people bashed the validity of the team's haunted claims. It's hard to say whether the island is actually haunted, but when it comes to ghosts, people almost always find exactly what they're looking for. Located off the coast of Japan's southern main island, Kyushu, Hashima Island lies approximately 18 kilometers, that's 12 miles, from Nagasaki. The island is commonly referred to as Battleship Island. The coal under the sea on the island was first exploited during the early industrialization of Japan in the second half of the 19th century. Hashima's coal mine continued to be in operation until 1974 and still has over 2,000 feet of tunnels stretching under the earth. To house the minerals and their families, the Mitsubishi Corporation built a miniature city on the island. The concrete apartment blocks built for the workers once made for the highest population density anywhere on Earth, at 5,259 people to be exact. Nowadays, no one lives there. It is a ghost island with a ghost town. Since the abandoned island has not been maintained, several buildings have collapsed, mainly due to typhoon damage, and other buildings are in danger of collapse. Some of the collapsed exterior walls have been restored with concrete. For years, it was not legally possible to set foot on the island at all. A few exceptions for specially licensed photographers and scientists were made. The island had a significant boost in public consciousness worldwide when a studio mock-up of it was used as a setting for scenes in a James Bond movie, Skyfall, in 2012, in which it was featured as a Bond villain's lair. Since late April 2009, new tourist services started taking visitors by boat from Nagasaki Harbor to a specially constructed pier and viewing platforms on Hashima. At number 13, Rockall is an uninhabited, remote, rocky island 434 kilometers, or 270 miles, from Ireland. It is the tip of an extinct volcano reaching 20 meters, that's 65 feet above sea level, with waves recorded as high as 29 meters, which is 95 feet. Fewer than 20 individuals have ever been confirmed to have landed on Rockall. Most were adventurers and radio amateurs. More people have reached the summit of Mount Everest than have successfully landed on Rockall. The origin of the name is debatable and is often translated to Roaring Rock. The Republic of Ireland does not have formal claim to Rockall, regarding it as merely an uninhabitable rock without any territorial waters. If the weather and the climb to a flat surface were not difficult enough, Rockall is surrounded by Helen's Reef, which regularly claims the ships of those who sail nearby or attempt to land. Claim of the island has been long disputed between Ireland and the UK. As Irish and British governments were nearing agreement, Iceland and Denmark jumped in to contest rightful dominion. The dispute is not so much about the ownership of the rock, but the potential for oil and gas reserves in the surrounding seabeds. For the moment, the status of Rockall remains that the UK claims it as part of their territory. While Ireland does not accept this claim, neither does it argue that Rockall is Irish. To whoever wins this argument, good luck landing on this treacherous island.
Tristan Da Cunha.
Counterpart to Bouvet, the island of Tristan Da Cunha is the most remote inhabited location on Earth. It is nearly 2,414 kilometers, that's 1,500 miles away from the southernmost tip of Africa, and 3,360 kilometers, that's 2,088 miles, from South America in the other direction. The island chain is so precariously occupied that when a volcano vent erupted in 1961, the whole population was evacuated to England. Today, the community is back in the old trot of fishing and growing potatoes, both allegedly yielding excellent produce. At last count, 297 people lived in Tristan, as it's known in brief, and they're all British citizens. The volcanic island has no airstrip, and ships come only a few times a year. Everyone there descends from 15 people. The island has only 8 family names. Things appear to be held communally, making it perhaps the most successful example of an equal society ever established. There are no package tours for independent travelers, no hotels, no airport, no holiday reps, no nightclubs, no restaurants, no jet skis, nor safe sea swimming. Any tourists must clear their arrival through the island council and are required to present a police certificate on a moment's notice. A 40-day wait is typical for said certificate. The island's sights are naturally limited, mainly because of the extreme location. Other than that, there's rare bird watching, albatross, hiking and climbing the island's volcanic summit and St. Mary's Peak to see its unique heart-shaped crater lake. Just northeast of the settlement, you can explore the lava flow, which is the threat that caused the evacuation of 1961. There are only 10 scheduled supply ship journeys a year, and demand is high, so early planning is essential. Since there's no other transport, no airfield or anything, this is the only regular connection to the rest of the world. Located 1,609 kilometers, that's 1,000 miles from Antarctica, lies Bouvet Island. Bouvet Island is the most remote, uninhabited island in the world. The island's cliffs are sheer, and it has an area of 49 square kilometers, that's 19 square miles, of which 93% of it is covered by a glacier. The center of the island is an ice-filled crater of an inactive volcano. Bouvet has a marine Antarctic climate dominated by heavy clouds and fog. Its mean temperature is -1 degrees Celsius, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and its September average is -3 degrees Celsius, that's 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Bouvet's peak temperature is 14 degrees Celsius, that's 57 degrees Fahrenheit, which was recorded in March 1980 and was caused by intense sun radiation. Winter on Bouvet is characterized by complete ice everything, with very little life. The entire island is a nature reserve, so unless you can make a compelling case for visiting, you'll be blocked by Norwegian authorities. There are no ports, so helicopter landing is necessary. Only a small handful of amateur radio DX petitions have been conducted on the island between 1977 and 2018. Comoros Island. Located off the eastern coast of Africa, this tiny country is one of the few people can pinpoint on a map. Few people visit Comoros because the islands are said to be infected with malaria-carrying mosquitoes. A lot of people there wear masks, and all of the water should be regarded as being potentially contaminated, according to the World Travel Guide. Water used for drinking, brushing teeth, or making ice should have first been boiled or otherwise sterilized. Milk is unpasteurized and must be boiled for safe consumption. Hepatitis E is widespread, and hepatitis B is hyperendemic. Several vaccines and medications are highly recommended to travelers considering a visit to Comoros. Farallon Islands. The group of islands in sea stacks just about 40 kilometers, that's 25 miles west of San Francisco, is off limits to people. Though the southeast Farallon Island has a field research station where a few conservation scientists work. More than 47,800 drums and other containers of low-level radioactive waste were dumped onto the ocean floor west of San Francisco between 1946 and 1970, according to U.S. Geological Survey. The exact location of the containers and the potential hazard to the environment is unknown. The islands are also sometimes referred to by mariners as the Devil's Teeth Islands, in reference to the many treacherous underwater shoals in their vicinity. The islands are the site of many shipwrecks. Noted computer scientist Jim Gray was lost at sea after setting out on a solo sailing trip from San Francisco to the Farallon Islands on January 28, 2007. Despite an unusually thorough search, neither his body nor his boat were ever found. Enewetak and Bikini Atoll Islands. Located roughly halfway between Australia and Hawaii lie the remote islands of Enewetak Atoll and Bikini Atoll. Both islands served as a testing site for dozens of atomic explosions during the Cold War. Between 1946 and 1958, 67 nuclear and atmospheric bombs were detonated on Enewetak and Bikini, an explosive yield equivalent to 1.6 Hiroshima bombs detonated every day over the course of 12 years. The explosions blanketed the islands with irradiated debris, including plutonium-239, the fissile isotope used in nuclear warheads, which has a half-life of 24,000 years. When the testing came to an end, the U.S. Defense Nuclear Agency, DNA, carried out an 8-year cleanup. But Congress refused to fund a comprehensive decontamination program to make the entire atoll fit for human settlement again. U.S. servicemen simply scraped off the island's contaminated topsoil and mixed it with radioactive debris. The resulting radioactive slurry was then dumped in an unlined 106-meter, 350-foot crater and sealed under 358 concrete panels. But the dome was never meant to last. According to the World Health Organization, the $218 million plan was designed as a temporary fix. It was just a way to store contaminated material until a permanent decontamination plan was devised. Meanwhile, only 3 of Atoll's 40 islands were cleaned up. Upon the declaration of reduced radiation levels, many returned in 1987, but it still wasn't safe. Food and plants are still contaminated. Original inhabitants refuse to return, and eating the local produce is strongly discouraged. Many people in Enewetak fear that one day the dome will break open, further spreading highly radioactive debris. As catastrophic weather events become more frequent, recent studies, including a 2013 study of the dome's structural integrity, have warned that typhoons could destroy or damage the cement panels, or inundate the island. The U.S. has never formally apologized to the Marshall Islands for turning it into an atomic testing ground. But what's new? Located off the coast of Myanmar sits Ramree Island. This island is famous for a gruesome incident that took place during World War II. In 1945, British soldiers drove an estimated 400 Japanese troops off the main track of the island into the dense mangrove forests. What no one realized was that the Japanese troops were confronted by an unknown but large number of saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest living crocodilian, and according to National Geographic, they are the animal most likely to eat a human. These saltwater crocodiles can reach up to 7 meters, that's 23 feet long, and weigh 998 kilograms. That's a whopping 2,200 pounds. The incident is, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the greatest disaster suffered by humans from animals. Our next spot makes the movie A Day After Tomorrow look like a walk in the park. Saba Island. Located in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, the island of Saba is home to a mere 2,000 people and spans only 13 square kilometers, which is roughly 8 miles for people like myself who don't know anything about kilometers. Saba may be a beautiful island, but Mother Nature is in charge. The tiny island of Saba has been hit by more severe hurricanes in the last 150 years than any other in the region, including 15 Category 3 storms and 7 Category 5s. Adding to the list of natural disasters, Saba residents live in the shadow of Mount Scenery, which is a potentially active volcano that last erupted in 1640. Since 1997, there have been a number of localized earthquakes that have led scientists to believe that the volcano could erupt again at any moment. Despite the potential danger, Saba tourism boasts of friendly people, stunning scenery, and a scuba diver's paradise. Locals refer to Saba as the unspoiled queen, a Caribbean destination like no other. And that's no joke. If you book a trip to Saba, be sure to do it in the winter. Despite the name, I highly doubt any families will be planning a get-together anytime soon at our number 4 spot, Reunion Island. Located in the Indian Ocean, the 40-mile-long French-owned island paradise is known for its beautiful beaches and Creole culture. While the island remains a popular vacation destination for scuba divers, surfers, and snorkelers, the unusually high frequency of bull shark attacks continues to rise. After a peak of 5 shark attacks in 2013, Reunion authorities reacted by banning surfing and swimming everywhere except for in the island's lagoons. Anti-shark nets were implemented in 2015 at 2 of the island's beaches, but their effectiveness was questioned a year later when a tourist lost an arm and a foot due to a shark attack. Later, a 2.5 meter, that's 8 foot, hole was discovered in the net. It has also been proven that the nets are damaging to other marine life, not just the targeted shark species. Baited drumlines have also been deployed in Reunion to catch and kill as many sharks as possible, but experts have concluded that intentionally attracting more sharks to inshore areas is also a flawed system. Many believe that the best plan of attack, rather than killing sharks, is to tackle overfishing and establishing protected areas to encourage the return of harmless reef shark species, to correct the unnatural influx of bull sharks. In the meantime, the only foolproof way to avoid shark attacks is to stay out of the water. There have been 23 reported shark attacks since 2011. At our number 3 spot, Miyake-Jima, Japan. Located approximately 178 kilometers, that's 110 miles south of Tokyo, Japan, Miyake-Jima Island ranks in as one of the most dangerous islands to visit in the world. Although the island sits atop an active volcano chain, the true danger isn't just the volcano's eruptions, but the fact that the island has one of the highest concentrations of poisonous sulfur dioxide gas in the entire world. That's right. A cloud of sulfur dioxide gas covers the entire island year-round. In 2000, a mass evacuation was initiated due to extremely high levels of toxic gas. After a series of volcanic eruptions from Mount Oyama, the main volcano on the island, all flights into the area were stopped for over 8 years due to the high levels of sulfur. Many residents returned in 2005, and as of January 1st of 2012, the population of the island sat at around 2,775. Residents are now required to carry a gas mask at all times. Aside from the dangers of gas, parts of the island are extremely lush, and apparently the scuba diving is a beautiful experience filled with dolphin sightings. Visitors can reach Miyake-Jima by boat or a helicopter flight from Tokyo. As you can imagine, gas masks are available upon arrival at many of the tourist shops on the island. Gruinard Island, also known as Anthrax Island. Gruinard Island is a small oval-shaped Scottish island approximately 2 kilometers, that's 1.2 miles, long by 1 kilometer, that's 0.6 miles wide. Located just off the Scottish mainland, Gruinard, a seemingly serene island, was once the location of a government-sanctioned death experiment. At the height of World War II, after surviving the Blitz, the British government became fearful of the Nazi chemical warfare attack dropped on London by the relentless Luftwaffe. In a hurry to develop a weapon that could deploy first, UK forces used the uninhabited Gruinard Island and a herd of sheep to test a deadly gaseous concoction. Explosive anthrax bombs decimated the sheep population and contaminated the entire island, resulting in a 75-year quarantine. The entire experiment was documented using 16mm color film cameras by the scientists. The footage, which you're seeing now, was finally declassified in 1997 and made available to the public. We've included a link in the description below for any weirdos who want to watch the footage in its entirety. Anyone who stepped foot on the island was as good as dead in a matter of minutes, with the exception of a port-and-down soldier, which is a scientist who periodically checks contamination levels. Initial efforts to decontaminate Gruinard Island failed miserably because the anthrax spores were nearly indestructible. Unlike Chernobyl, which remains a nuclear wasteland, Gruinard Island was eventually declared safe in 1990. However, anthrax is a highly resilient bacterium, and scientists are not convinced that the conditions on the island are currently safe for human life. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island is part of the Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal. It is home to the Sentinelese people, who are among the world's last uncontacted tribes. These are indigenous groups that maintain no contact with modern civilization. Few photographs or videos exist, and it's not even known what they call themselves. One thing's for sure, however, their reputation is fearsome. They have killed a number of outsiders who have strayed onto or too close to the island, which belongs to India and is about the size of Manhattan. In 2006, the tribe killed 2 men who were fishing illegally in waters in the Bay of Bengal. The men had moored their boat near the island to sleep, but they were killed when the boat broke loose and drifted onto shore. The indigenous Sentinelese were already one of the most feared and mysterious tribes in the world before they killed the American missionary John Allen Chua, who visited the island trying to share his Christian faith. Very little is known about the Sentinelese people. No outsiders speak their language. The population is estimated to number between 50 and 150 people, and it's unclear if the number is stable. However, not all contact with the tribe has resulted in arrows fired or fatalities, but for safety's sake, the Indian government is respecting the tribe's right to no contact. Debates rage on whether to modernize the tribe or let them be. In the meantime, traveling within 3 miles of the island or any contact at all remains illegal. Ilha de Queimada Grande, known to many as Snake Island, is located off the Brazilian coast in the Atlantic Ocean. Untouched by human developers, the island is home to a unique species of pit viper, the golden lancehead. Golden lancehead snakes are responsible for 90% of Brazilian snakebite-related fatalities. They grow to well over half a meter long and possess a powerful, fast-acting venom that melts the flesh around their victims' bites. Golden lanceheads are so dangerous that, with the exception of some scientific outfits, the Brazilian Navy has expressly forbidden anyone from landing on the island. It is estimated that there are roughly 1 to 5 snakes per square meter on the island. Brazilian locals claim that 1 snake per square meter is more accurate. But with 1 snake per square meter, you're never more than 3 feet away from death.
Thank you for watching, and please click below to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and please click below to subscribe. God. Let's try that again.